Curtis A reached out to me, said make a theme song for my show. Said alright, just give me all the details, man. And my homie says he don't know. Well, if you're gonna pay me big bucks, cause I might should have something to say. He said, you know what I bring, I'm the customizing king, nothing else matters anyway. So is he gonna have guests? I don't know. Is he gonna go live? I don't know. What time will it be? What will you see? I'm pretty much in the dark, but I can guarantee he'll be customizing action figures, getting paint all on his fingers. It's Art by Ackerman. It's Art by Ackerman. Tips and tricks and conversation, sharing his gift with every nation. It's Art by Ackerman. Art by Ackerman. You best get ready, cause now it's time for Art by Ackerman.
Welcome back to another episode of Art by Ackerman. Today I am going over my favorite customs that I did in 2025. It was an interesting year. Started my YouTube channel, interviewed 45 people for the how'd they do that. Did a bunch of tutorials, did a bunch of painting live streams, did some travel toy videos. So with all of that stuff being done, didn't get as many customs done as I normally would in the past, at least full customs. But I did get enough done that I could pick at least a top 10. I had a few extras that didn't make the list, but I got 10 that I'm going to go over today, plus an honorable mention. And then at the end, we're going to do a members only giveaway. What do I have in store? Well, let me try to reach over and get this. So any of you folks that are over there with your name in the green, you are members and you will be eligible for this giveaway. Anybody that is not currently a member, you have till the end of this episode to become a member to be eligible. I'll throw your name on the wheel. But today we have a Gaspar the Unamused. You will also get a mini Art by Ackerman t-shirt. You will get a set of the Art by Ackerman brushes, which very hard to come by at this point. I'm sold out other than just a few that I have for myself and giveaways. Really can't get them anywhere until Wolf King Customs opens up. This may be one of your only chances to get these for a while. And then also giving you one of these heads from Wolf King Customs. This is one of my favorite heads to paint. Thought this would work well with that Gaspar body. So head, figure, t-shirt, brushes. We're going to pull all of that at the end of this episode. So once again, if you're tuning in, you haven't joined yet, you have till the end of the episode to do so. Before we get rolling, let's see who we got out there. We got MJ Staten here, says hello, peeps. Hello, MJ. We got Andy the Collector, Jeremy Govier. We got Jen, a.k.a. Lucky Sprinkles. Artist formerly known as Twizzler19. We've got Omar Munez. Saw him on New to Mythics today. We got Megs out there. Hope you're starting to feel a little better, Megs. Got Jesse Marshall here. Darla Ackerman, I know her, and she's right over there. She has been working upstairs all day, but she came down for this. So we got the better half of the Williams boys. I is here. We got Hey ZHL, William Husted, Greg, formerly of the Brute Scale. And that is everybody that has talked so far, with the exception of Sean Chipman, 5581. So welcome, everybody. We're going to get right into it. So I'm going to go with my honorable mention first, and then my top 10, my favorite customs that I did this past year. So let's pull myself down here, and starting off with my honorable mention. This is the skeleton He-Man that I did. So let me embiggen myself. This guy was fun. As I was kind of messing around with the, I believe it was the Raider, the skeleton Raider. I took off the hat, the helmet that he has, and then I started messing around and just put a wig on him. I'm like, oh, that kind of looks like a skeleton He-Man. And then I put the rest of the ensemble together, and then didn't really have at that time, we didn't have the skeleton lower leg that goes into the boot. We do have that now with the scaphoid that just came out at Legions Con. But until that, we did not have this. So I customized these legs so that they would fit into the boot, trimmed the skull head down so that it would fit in the hair, and then put the rest of this together. Really zero paint on this, but just, parts and a little bit of dremeling work. But I thought this was pretty fun. So that comes in at number 10. Like I said, no paint, but it's a fun one. And yeah, got that one in my collection like this. I kind of envision that Skeletor found a way to turn He-Man into a skeleton, thinking that he was going to be able to control him. But he's still He-Man, so he's still good, even though he's a skeleton version. So there is that one. Let's see. Let's go back to this. So next, coming in at number 10, we have the McFarlane Batman statue. This is the Hush Batman. So I picked this up. It was on sale. I believe it was like $45. Found at a store, and it was very just kind of plain Jane, solid colors, no shading, no dry brushing, no whatever. And I got it home, and I was just, it was one of those that for $45, I was just going to throw it on like the top of my detofs in my office and leave it like that. And the more I looked at it, I was like, it does have some sculptural detail there. It's just, the paint apps aren't really great. So I decided to repaint this whole thing. So I did bust it apart, took it all apart into all the pieces, painted it up. And here's what that looks like. So that's that finished statue. So he's a big guy, he's 12 inches. And I'm pretty happy with how that turned out. So yeah, not an action figure per se, but still custom paint job. So I'm counting that. And that comes in at number 10. Let's see. Check the chat. Make sure we're not missing anything. We had Pickle D jumped in. Love this one. Tanya is here as well. Says, hey. All right. We're going to jump into number 9. And number 9, we go straight from Batman to Robin. I've been kind of putting together a McFarlane, like the McFarlane multiverse group of heroes to kind of match the superpowers ones that I had as a kid. And up until this point, they had put out several Robins that were like more of the adult Robins, kind of the same scale as Batman. But we really didn't have a kid Robin. They did put out a Dick Grayson at some point, but it was really just the what is it, Dark Knight Returns, the female Robin that they then kind of just threw a different head on. Didn't really like that, so I modified that same figure, the female Robin. The R that she has on there is more of kind of like a bubbly R. So I sliced that off with an X-Acto knife, sculpted and painted a new R on the logo, repainted the arms and legs, repainted and put some like scales on the trunks, and then painted up a custom head for this as well. And this was actually the most asked about figure that I had at Legions Con. Like, several people came up and was asking if this was for sale, which it wasn't. I wasn't going to sell it, but I didn't think that it would get that much of attention, but it did. A lot of people were asking about this one. So, and here it is. So there is that Robin, and really happy with how that came out. And, when you put that next to like a Batman figure, which I don't have one next to me, but let's see. I'll take, what do I got? I got my actually skeleton here. So this guy's 7 inches. So next to him, you can see quite a bit smaller. So I love the way that this scales with the rest of my DC figures. And I really like how it came out. I thought the head sculpt that I got. I picked that up from eBay, and I thought that looked really good. So there you go. That is number 9. Number 9. Yes, Carrie Kelly. So let's see. Then coming in at number 8. I don't have these to show you, so we're just going to have to go by the picture here because this was a commission. I don't normally take commissions. I've told people, like, it's not my thing doing commissions. But this was part of a larger project. Matt Osborne had reached out to several artists in the community. He had this Demon Lokar that he had Emil Wickman design, and then had several other artists that were doing like these Knights of Lokar that worked for him. So I was commissioned to do one of these, and I started kind of getting ideas and putting something together. And it was for the female that's in the back. And then I figured I would ask him because the only thing he really gave us was colors. He said he wanted some black in there, and then red, orange, and or yellow. And then I asked him, I was like, well, does it have to be a male? Does it have to be like, is there, does it have to be a knight body? And he's like, yeah, I prefer it. And I was like, okay, well, never mind. What I had in mind was something different. I'll go a different direction. And he's like, well, tell me what you had in mind. And I told him about this figure that I had in the back, the one with the wings, and kind of did dremeled some like lava cracks in her skin and stuff. And he's like, no, that sounds really cool. He goes, how about you still do that one, but then you do a knight the other way that I was looking for. So one commission turned into 2 commissions. And then he ended up writing a really cool story that kind of these two work together in, kind of how they work for Lokar. They're like a team. So I thought that came out really well. We ended up getting all these pieces together at Legions Con, all the different artists. And even though none of us had really talked to each other about our pieces, they all looked very cohesive. It looked like a wave that like the Horsemen would put out. It was really, really cool. So these are coming in at number 8 for me. Let's see, checking the chat real quick. Twizzler says, very cool Robin, big Batman collector. I'd be happy to have a Robin like that in my collection. Thank you very much. All right, coming in at number 7. Once again, not a lot, there's no paint on this, nothing super special. But as soon as Maxilius was shown, 3 years ago, I knew that I wanted those robes. I knew that I wanted to make some monks with it. And so when they came in, I put this together using some parts from Gaspar, using some parts from Legendary Barbarian, a book from the, I think it was from the Marley set. And then what's not in this picture here and is a new addition to this is now he has the Holy Hand Grenade. So there is my monk figure. Once again, no paint, but this is just a really cool one. I like this a lot. And he is in right here. He's counting to 3. So yeah, not 2, not 4, 5 right out. But he is counting to 3. So let's see. So that is, we got 10, 9. What was it? 10, 9, 8, 7. So on to 6. And 6 is my Green Arrow. So this is one McFarlane had put out, I think like 4 or 5 different Green Arrows. He did one from the Arrowverse. He did 2 from the Injustice game. He did a like a digital one of the like DC Direct ones, but none of them were like the superpowers kind of look that I wanted with the bright colors and all this and that. So what I ended up doing was combining 2 different Green Arrows. So like on the head here, the head is from the DC Direct Green Arrow, but then the hat comes from one of the Injustice Green Arrows. So I had to Dremel part of the head down so that the hat would fit on there and kind of lock into place. That DC Direct one has a hood that's up on it. And so I ended up heating up that hood and kind of folding it down and gluing it in place. So it's kind of like it's not on top. The hood's not up, it's down. Then took the quiver from a different Green Arrow, attached it to the back of this one, and then did some sculpting work to make that fit in. On the arms, I kind of dremeled down some of the extra detail on the bracers to make those a little bit more flat, and then just did a full repaint on this. The arms, the legs, the torso, everything was repainted. And then just picked colors that I thought really worked and made this pop. And I was really happy with how this came out. This took a long time, took several months, but yeah, pretty happy with this one. And I do have it here with me. So there is what that one looks like. The camera's kind of washing it out a little bit to where those colors aren't showing up as bright as they are, but yeah, that's what that looks like. Let's see. Let me go back to the chat. Let's see. Dub says, damn, YouTube didn't give me a notification. I'm sorry about that, sir. Omar says, Curtis made my old priest from Catholic school. Thank you, love it. Well, I'm glad it was a good priest that I made. You mean Todd didn't give us the definitive versions of a character? Get out of town. Yeah, you're going to see a theme with that because there's several of these that normally in the past I would have just waited for him to put out the version that I wanted. But with him kind of being done with the line soon, this year was very much a year of DC customs for me because I realized that some of the ones that I was waiting on probably aren't going to happen. And so I just had to make them myself. So you'll see a few more of those as we go. MJ says the greens made this so sharp. You killed it, Curtis. Thank you very much. Here's hoping Mattel does their line justice. We'll see. I'm hoping that they don't change the scale again. I really do I know some people aren't into the 7-inch scale. I like the 7-inch scale. I think the bigger figures pop on the shelf a little bit more, and I'm not wanting to start all the way back over again. So, yeah, we'll see how it goes. Looks like Kevin Hamilton jumped in. We had Brian Carr jumped in as well. Starscream. So welcome everybody. So that was 6. As we get ready to go in the top 5, just a reminder, we are going to do a members only giveaway here at the end of this episode. So if you're not a member yet, if your name isn't showing up in green over here, you have until I spin this wheel to join. Hit that little join button at the top for $1.99 a month. You get early access to videos, you get entered into giveaways, and you get early access to things like the brushes. So the giveaway for today, once again, we got a Gaspar the Unamused. That is going to come with this head from Wolf King Customs, one of my favorite heads that I feel like would work well with that figure. One of the mini Art by Ackerman t-shirts, and a rare, not too many left until Wolf King opens back up, Art by Ackerman brush set. So I don't have any more of these for sale. Kev may have some at Kev Box Toys down in Texas. Ginger Kid may have a couple left, but until Wolf King opens back up, you're not too many chances to get this. So you will get a Art by Ackerman brush set. So one lucky winner is going to get all of that, but you have to be a member in order to be eligible. So, and Rob Zamora just jumped in. Welcome, Rob. So, all right, back to the numbers. We are now at number 5. Number 5 is a recent entry. On Christmas Day, we had a ton of people posting their version of the Nutcracker. Saw some really cool things, and I decided to put my own together using that awesome head that they had with the Mouse King. You have parts from a few different figures here. So we got the Praetorian from the Furious Four for the upper arms and legs. You've got the Monkey King for the torso and pauldrons. You have Valak for the hands, legs, and waist piece. You have Ninian for the loin piece and the bracers, and then did a bunch of paint throughout. It wasn't like a full repaint, but pretty much every piece has some paint on it. So the torso and the pauldrons, I added some red trim and kind of changed some of those gems to be red that were turquoise. The waist piece, painted that kind of the big thick belt red with the gold buckle. Also painted all the silver rivets gold on there. On the bracers, painted like this red stripe towards the top, and then painted the rivets on the gloves gold. And then on the legs, which you can't really see there, but I'll show in a second, on the back of the legs, I painted a red strap with some gold buckles. And anything that was glossy on there, like some of the Valak parts were glossy black, I hit that with a matte coat to bring it down to the matte black that matched the Monkey King parts. So this is what that looks like in hand. So did end up giving him the scepter from the Mouse King. I thought that fit better than the sword. But yeah, that's what that one looks like. And I know there's tons of great nutcrackers out there. A bunch of people have done it. This was just my take on it. I'll show the back of the legs there because you couldn't see that in the picture, but that's the red strap on those with the gold buckle. So there you go. That's my version of the Nutcracker. Coming in at number five. Only 4 left. Here we go. Back to the sheet. So coming in at number 4, this is one that I completed, took to Legion's Con, was not planning on selling it because this is one I really wanted for my own collection. Took a lot of work. So this combines the body from the McFarlane Page Punchers Gorilla Grodd. And then the head is from the DC Universe Classics Gorilla Grodd Build-A-Figure from Mattel, which was sculpted by Eric Treadaway. The head was. And then in order to make this, I had to take off the parts that were on the head, like the helmet contraption, like the mind control thing. Had to take that off and then sculpt some pieces on the head where it left kind of holes in the head. Took the armor off of the body from the Page Puncher body, which left him with basically like no chest, like the chest is non-existent once you take the armor off. So I had to sculpt a chest. Also had where the shoulder armor was, it like left holes in his shoulder, so I had to sculpt that in, sculpt some fur in some of those places, and then do a full repaint, and then obviously the kind of loin piece, the leather loin piece there. So brought this to Legion's Con, was not planning on selling this. Corn Boy came over, showed interest in it. I told him it wasn't really for sale, but I was kind of regretting it because, Corn Boy wants something of yours in his collection. You kind of want him to have it. And later on in the day, Corn Boy's kids came by the table, and Darla had mentioned, like they pointed out right away, and they're like, "Oh, that's really cool." And Darla was like, "Oh yeah, your dad was just over here, and he really liked it and was asking about it." And so then they asked if they could buy it for him for Christmas, and I couldn't say no. So even though I really wanted it for my own collection, I ended up selling it to him. Had to keep it quiet for a little bit because they were giving it to him from Christmas. But then he messaged me right before Christmas. He had opened it. He was really ecstatic. And apparently it's in his office now at work, which is super cool. But since I still wanted one for me, I had to redo it. So I've been working on that for the last 3 or 4 weeks now. And I'm happy to say that just today, a couple hours ago, I finished my second version of this. So this is my second Gorilla Grodd, using that same same parts and sculpting the torso and all that. So this is version 2. So that one will be going into my collection, and it will not be sold. I don't care who wants it. So yeah, this one is staying with me. So that is number 4. Let's check the comments here, see if we got anything else. Let's see. Starscream says latest leak says 6.5 for them. I could deal with 6.5 for the Mattel ones. That would be cool. Dub says love the Gaspar. Well, you may win it. Anybody that is a member of the channel has a chance to win on this wheel that we're going to pull here in just a little bit. Omar says my favorite Nutcracker custom, amazing brother. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. Rob says, but only your Nutcrackers I will allow to crack D's nuts. All right. Thank you very much. Alan says, big monkey for the win. It is definitely a big monkey. Deadman1 is here. Says, hello, Curtis. Hello, Deadman1. You actually showed up at a great time because this is the figure that I will be putting some pictures and stuff together for a certain magazine that you may be familiar with. So let's see. Alan says, love the coloring. Cool. Thank you very much. You mastered that custom. I appreciate that. Don't leave Dylan alone with this. Yeah, he was kind of drooling over it this morning as I was working on it on the Mod Squad. So and then Omar says Gorilla Grodd looks better than anything McFarlane made. Well, I mean, the largest portion of this is a McFarlane body. It's just he decided to do the like cosmic-y like version of Grodd when I really just wanted like the monkey, like Super Friends-ish Legion of Doom Grodd. So anyways, that was number 4. Coming in at number 3, another recent one that I wanted to finish before the end of the year, was working to kind of wrap this one up. This is my version of Solomon Grundy. It is using the Grundy Build-A-Figure body from McFarlane with a custom head that I got from Dave Castle from his eBay store. And then just some, he's got like these sculpted plastic chains around his wrist, which are okay. But I wanted to add some real chains to it just to kind of make it pop a little bit more. So I added some metal chains to it as well. And just finished this one up recently, and I'm really happy with how that came out. So, and I do have that here. So that's what that one looks like. And I love this one. What do you want to search for? Stupid watch. I don't want to search for anything. So yeah, I think that head looks really awesome. Yeah, this was a lot of fun. So I'm really happy with how that turned out. So that is number 3. We only got 2 left, folks. 2 left. Twizzler says, I think this is my favorite. I have the Build-A-Figure Grundy, but this is better. Yeah, I mean, it's really just that Build-A-Figure body, but just repainted. They do this thing, listen, I am a defender of McFarlane. I know people shit on him, shit on the DC line that he does. I think the sculpts for them are fantastic. Like if you look at the sculpts, the detail is there. They just a lot of times skip out on the paint apps. And I understand why they do it because they're trying to keep that retail price really low. And they've done a really good job of keeping their prices low for what you're getting. But it kind of makes me sad when I look at some of their figures and I see all that detail, but there's just not any paint to it. And this is definitely one of those. I mean, the denim here has so much textural detail that just was not painted in. The skin, like you got those like veins popping and stuff. And it's just, they like leave it in his changes fell off. They leave it in the plastic that they sculpted in, and they just don't put a lot of paint on it. They just kind of skip the paint apps. And like I said, it just makes me sad. So But it makes it fun to paint because when you've got all that sculptural detail in there, and you go to like dry brush something like that, it just, I don't know, it feels so good when you just rub some dry brushing on there and all of a sudden the details just go boom and just pop. It's like, yes, I like that. So it makes it fun to paint. Let's see, that Solomon Grundy should be mass produced. Appreciate that. Real chains are bad for wrists. Had them in a stilt costume of mine and they ripped weave right off when they took the photo. That's not good. McFarlane has Build-A-Figures. That's new to me. Yeah, they've got some Build-A-Figure waves. This one was in, they had a wave where they were like in black and white. So Grundy was in that. They had another, I think, Build-A-Figure Grundy wave. And then recently they put him out in a 2-pack where he's like translucent. It looks like he's being electrocuted. So it's like a translucent yellow. So you've made some amazing big boys. Your Grodd and Grundy are amazing. Well, if you like those, my number 2 is another big boy. So let's see. Our prices have never been lower. All right. Let's see. Now that I'm painting, I might do some touch-ups on my McFarlane DC figures. Thanks for the inspiration. Absolutely. I got to thank Tony's Figs. Like, I did not want to paint McFarlane figures. That was always one of those, I spend money on like the Mafex and stuff to get the like excellent versions of these characters. But with McFarlane, it's like, it's just a cheap, like $25, $30 figure. I don't want to spend a lot of time or money on it. But I was watching Tony Figs' YouTube channel, checking out his Instagram, and some of his McFarlane figures just looked amazing. And you would have comments in there where people would be going, what toy line is this? Because like he did such a good job of painting them that you couldn't tell that they were McFarlane figures anymore. And I was like, that's pretty cool that there's that much sculptural detail there, that just a new paint job, maybe a few modifications here and there, and people can't tell that it's a McFarlane figure. So gotta thank Tony on that. He's awesome. Yeah, it was the Arkham City wave. You're right. Let's see. Batman, Catwoman, Penguin, and Ra's al Ghul wave was the color wave of gold label. Yes, gold label with black and white. Yes. So there you go. All right, so that was number 3. Got 2 left, folks, and then we're going to pull this giveaway. So if you're not a member yet, you got 2 more figures to go. Coming in at number 2, another big boy. This was the first McFarlane that I spent a lot of time on repainting, and this is Doomsday. This is another one that just looking at it made me sad. Like I love the death and return of Superman storyline so much. And when I looked at this Doomsday, like he had practically 0 paint apps on his body. So like when you look here, like the green around his arm wasn't painted in. You didn't have a lot of shading details between like the rock parts and the regular skin parts. All of the stuff that's like metallic was just like a gray, that it was sculpted in a gray and just left like that. The greens were just like this really kind of pale green, one solid color, no shading, no, texture to it. So it just made me sad to look at it because once again, the sculpt was there. I could see all the textural details. It just had a really, really bad paint job. And I was like, I gotta put paint on this thing. It looked so much fun to paint, and it absolutely was. I had a blast painting this thing. So even though there were no, like, I don't have any 3D printed parts on this, I didn't have to slice anything and put things together or modify things or sculpt anything. There was nothing like extra about this. This was just a repaint, but it was one of the most fun repaints I've ever done. So that is this one here. And like I said, I just absolutely love this guy. He is a huge, huge big boy. We just had the Grodd. I'll put that up next to him so you can see he's even bigger than Grodd. He's bigger than Grundy. He's bigger than Grodd. He's a massive, chunky dude, and I I just love, like, look at that, all those sculptural details they put in there. Like, this guy is just the work that they put into the sculpt is so good, and it's like just do a little bit more paint, just a a few more paint apps, some dry brushing, a black wash. And it just looks so much better. I'm not trying to like pat myself on the back or anything, but if they just put a little bit more effort into it, the results are so much better. Like I think that people would absolutely, pay whatever, $5-10 extra to get those extra paint apps. It just so good. So good. So I really love this guy. He makes me happy. Another one that I won't be selling. So, so that is number 2. Let's see what we got over here before we go to number 1. Once again, after we get to number 1, we are going to pull this drawing for the members. You've got until I get done with number 1 to join if you haven't. Let's see what we've got. DC multiverse figures are very rewarding to paint. Yeah, like I said, the sculpt is there. They just don't have a lot of paint. So you should show these improvements to Todd. I would absolutely love to show these improvements to Todd. I would love to talk to Todd. I am very happy with the DC line that he has put together and the amount of characters that I didn't think that we would ever see in figure form that we've gotten. I know he gets a lot of shit for all the Batman, but it's what sells. Like, people buy Batman. You can every single Batman that he puts out that people are like, oh, another Batman. Well, then you go to the store and they sell out of them. So, clearly he's doing something right. You set Doomsday free through paint. Appreciate that. Absolutely love your work on this. The sculpt is immense. You nailed it. Appreciate that. That is my Doomsday. Awesome job. Well, thank you very much. All right. Last but not least, my favorite custom that I did in 2025. This one was very special to me. This is Coronach Shavanti. This is my mythic role-playing game character. So if you have paid attention to Legion's Quest, there's a D&D campaign where myself, Jesse, Nate Strong, Trevor Williams, Bill Dranowski are in a D&D campaign kind of set in mythos with Joe Gonzalez as our DM. Well, Four Horsemen have allowed us to also do some testing for the mythic role-playing game. And if in that mythic role-playing game, I play a Minotaur. And I wanted to make my character. It's something that I think has been really cool about the mythic role-playing game. And I think it's once that Kickstarter kicks off, I think it's something that people are going to really enjoy. Is you create this backstory for your character, you pick your race, you pick your class and all this kind of stuff. And then there's just, especially for somebody that's in this community that's used to creating and popping and swapping and all this kind of stuff, you want to make your character. It's something that without even talking to one another, like me and Bill and Trevor, like we didn't talk about, hey, let's all make our characters into this and that. Like we just created our characters for the game. And then within a couple weeks, you started seeing like Nate showed his and like, oh crap, I'm working on one too. And then this guy's like, oh, I'm working on one too. Like we all had the same idea that we wanted to create our characters in Mythic Legion form. So it was just a really fun thing. And I think once this Kickstarter goes live, people are going to be really excited to do. With this one, I combined like the lower body is 1.0. And then the upper body is actually brute scale. So I've got the Apharius torso, arms, and hands, but that's on a 1.0 lower body. So it gave him kind of a more bulky upper body. And then, the 1.0 lower, weaved those straps on his chest. That is using a My Action Figure Customs head that I painted up. And then, did a full repaint on all the armor and everything. And then put that cape is the one for Attila version 2. So I stole Attila version 2's cape to put on him. So that is my D&D character, Koronak, and here he is. Let me show him off. So that's what he looks like there. And like I said, I just really dig this character. My backstory on this character is that he is a performer, and he basically was like if you go and see like a matador with the bull and stuff, it's like reverse that. So he's the bull, but he's the one that's like taunting the human, and the human's charging in, and he's kind of dodging out of the way and embarrassing them and knocking them on their ass and making them look silly. So it's like the reverse matador situation. And he's just a fun character. I enjoy role playing with those guys with this character, and the figure just made me happy. So when we were playing at Legions Con this year, we got to play the role playing game in person, which is the first time the group of us has sat down together to play. And this guy was on the table with me, and yeah, it was just a ton of fun. So there it is, my number one, Koronak Shavanti. So, and that is it, folks. That is my top 10 plus an honorable mention customs that I created in 2025. Hope you enjoyed that. I'm going to check out the comments here, and then we're going to pull a wheel for this giveaway. So let's see. Like the way that you inhabit your character. Appreciate that. Thank you very much. Bill says, and he appreciates fine barricades. Absolutely. One thing that we found out in the Mythic role-playing game is goblins build really nice barricades, and my character can appreciate that. The construction's nice. So if the tapes of what we recorded ever get out there, I think that people are going to really have fun with the episodes that we recorded for the Mythic role-playing game, because I thought it was a lot of fun. So Omar, yeah, that's going to be a trend this year. All of us making RPG characters. Absolutely. I can't wait for people to start showing like pictures of themselves and their group of friends, like sitting around a table and playing and creating their own characters and all this kind of stuff. It's going to be a blast. So I have to tell you about the crazy Minotaur rogue I played. Ooh, that'd be fun. Can't wait to hear. Ed jumped in, says, fantastic work, brother. Thank you very much. Alan says that Minotaur is killing it. Thank you very much. And Meg says, awesome. So amazing to see your creativity. Well, I appreciate it. Like I said, a lot of work went into kind of getting the channel up and running this year. Putting together some content with, interviewing folks on how they do the things that they do, doing some tutorials, doing the travel toy stuff. So I didn't get as many customs done as I would in years past. Plus, a lot of the customs that I did work on were like big, massive characters. So they just took a while. So I didn't have like the largest selection as I had in the past, but I felt like the ones that I did do, I was pretty happy with. I was pretty, I was satisfied with what I did. So, all right, enough of that. We are going to, let me do this. Let me take myself like that. We're going to pull this giveaway. So once again, let me share what we got. So we have the Gaspar the Unamused. We've got this head from Wolf King Customs to go with it. Mini t-shirt, Art by Ackerman t-shirt, and a set of, I throw it across my table, this set of Art by Ackerman brushes. So let me pull up that wheel. Let's see, share screen. Here we go. All right, so let me throw myself down at the bottom. So over here on the side, you've got all of the members of the channel. Currently, we have 78 members of the channel. And you got the wheel in the middle with the, I don't know, who's going to win? I don't know. But we're going to spin that, and we'll see who it lands on. So let me shuffle this a few times, shuffle those names up. And then let's go ahead and spin this thing. Is there a way? Can I move this? Yeah, right here. There we go. All right, here we go. Spin it and see who wins it. One spin, one win. And there it is. And what's funny about this is my number one, which was my Kurnak Shavanti, my mythic role playing game character. He has an accent similar to Antonio Banderas in Zorro. And in order to get into character for each episode that we would record, I would start before the episode by saying, Eduardo de Jesus. So it's just very fitting that my number one for the year, before I would play a game with him every time, I would say this name in order to get into character. So Eddie, you will be getting that prize package. So congratulations. Thank you to you and everybody else that is a member of the channel. Appreciate everybody watching. Appreciate everybody's support over this past year as I got the channel up and running. I saw in Displaying Model Behavior the other day, they were doing like a list of the top 100 toy tube channels. And some people had commented about my channel, and they put that up there as one of the top 100. So that was pretty cool. So in 1 year's time, I think we've done a lot. We've accomplished a lot, and I couldn't do that without all of you. So thank you to everybody. Appreciate you tuning in for this. Appreciate all your support. And until next time, folks, keep creating.